Seem like you've gone through that mourning stage already.
Most of my day is okay. You know, there are things that tick me off, and I still don't understand it. I still am very confused by, when something like this happens, you're a part of the problem, and I like to know, exactly, because I don't think there's been a great exchange between Josh and I, and or Messiah and I, since the end of the season. I mean, everybody was disappointed in the outcome. We as a coaching staff, probably more so than anybody. But we basically fed this team for 2 years, and wow, I mean, so much excitement for us as a coaching staff. The way we played, how we persevered, how we got through the season, and then to hear the gossip and the spin that, things that I don't remember ever having meetings on there supposedly were, or maybe I was just, 57 wins, one of the best years of coaching I've ever been, one of the best connected teams, togetherness-wise and coaching-wise, and also fan-wise. I think the fans like this team a lot.
George, I still can't get my arms around how the executive of the year and the coach of the year are no longer here. When we had those press conferences a month ago, did you have any idea that this was coming?
I don't know exactly when. I heard some whispers from some people and some friends in the league. I don't know if it was, after Masai, after we got the awards, but there were some guys who said, "Hey, be careful, George. Josh Masai, be careful with him." And coaches are paranoid. I mean, but still, just I've been through some of these before. I've been fired before. I've been dismissed before. I just don't understand it. I just think it's drastic, tragic, confusing. And a lot of my guys, a lot of my assistant coaches got to live through it. I feel bad for them. Young assistants need security and connection. And we thought we had great connection this year. And all we were hoping for some security. But the one thing I want to say is, as to the fans, is I went into the meeting with Josh on Sunday before I got fired.
This was last Sunday.
Yeah. And I said to Josh, I want to coach this team. I will coach this team. I love coaching this team. It's exciting to coach this team. But the thing about an extension, I didn't sign. The contract was a bad contract for both sides. It was 3 years and then 3 years.
A 3-year option held by the team.
And that was their choice.
Okay.
Signed 3 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, that was their choice to have his 3-year option.
And when did they have to notify you by that option?
In the next year.
Okay.
In the next year. And all I said was, give us another year. Give us a compromise. Is there a compromise between a little bit and not 3 years?
Because you felt you didn't deserve the full 3 years, or because you felt they weren't going?
I have no problem someone arguing with me that not a full 3 years.
Okay.
And you can tear a coach's contract up.
Sure.
You can do an addendum to a coach's contract. You can't do it to player contracts. I don't think they were just set on going another way, starting on the same page, or whatever cliche they use.
You called it stupid. The decision was stupid. Do you think it was an emotional one by Josh, or was it thought out?
I think there's a lot of emotion in it. And I think the Masai thing and then this thing so quickly on one another, I think as you get older, I've always said you don't make emotional decisions in business. You try to stay away from emotion because you make mistakes. But I'm sure they had many meetings and many conversations, and I mean, when I had that one, when I said to Josh, I think this is pretty stupid. I could have went further, but I didn't think that was the way. I think Josh has handled his part of the bargain pretty first class. He told me very clearly that he's going to honor my contract and my coach's contract. That's important to me. Yeah. My assistants are important. I don't know how many more years I'm going to coach, but I'm going to probably get another job. But a 40-year-old guy that has 3 kids and all of a sudden he sees an end to getting paid good money, it's a scary place to be.
It's important to note one of the reasons why you were pressing for an extension, not just for you, because every coach obviously wants security, but for the security of your assistants.
I think mostly for my assistants. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, losing a playoff series, if we won that playoff series, would they be upset? If we had won that playoff series, would I gotten an extension? The chism for a playoff series, and I know that's my, downfall or record-wise, and I'm not going to stand and argue my record. It's disappointing. The playoff record is disappointing. But I don't think it overrides the good coaching that has happened here. I mean, 8.5 years, I'm so proud of what has happened here for 8.5 years. So many interesting ways to win, so many different types of teams.
Three different teams, right?
Different management. You had the Kiki clan, and then you had Mark Workington and Brett Baird, and now you have Masai. And so many different ways that we still figured out how to be a good basketball team. And, it's still very distracting to me how disappointing I am disappointed and confused.
Do you think if Masai had stayed on board, you would have stayed on board? Did one affect the other?
I've heard both arguments. I've heard people in the league say no, and I've heard people in the league say Masai would have had my back. I don't have that answer. The sad thing about all this, I haven't talked to Masai since he's left. And, all I hear is the reason I'm talking to you and a few other people is I want my story out there. I don't want to create conflict. I don't want to create confusion. Stan Kroenke has been very good to me. The Kroenke family, the Kroenke Sports has made me a happy camper for many, many years. I'll get over this. I'll get by this, and we'll move on.
Do you think Josh Kroenke may have bitten off more than he can chew? He's a young guy.
Well, that's for you guys to, you guys make that decision. I think he's put himself in a difficult place, and my thing is, I think it's a big hole. It's a big hole, and a team that's young. Young team, maybe an experienced team might be able to handle this better, but I think a young team we talk about young and inexperienced. So much of it comes for the mental toughness of the league, the perseverance of the league, the picking yourself up in the league, and not relying on excuses, but relying upon hard work and commitment. And this opens up that window. Someone might jump out.
I keep hearing, George, that they wanted you to play the younger players. You played them, maybe not to their liking, but is it fair to say you wanted to win first, and when you did, they wanted to push those younger players on, maybe at the cost of winning.
Who's that serve? Does that serve me, or does that serve the team? Does that serve personnel people? I never had that meeting where they looked me in the eye with my coaches in the room saying, we want you to play the younger players. Yeah, I knew they were disappointed with JaVale. But we were winning. Costa earned his respect, earned my respect. I think he earned the team's respect. And I think JaVale at the end was getting understanding exactly where he had to be and where he was going to be. I'm pretty sure JaVale would have started next year. But there's a lot of things that come into those choices, and it then shouldn't be I didn't play the younger players. I didn't play the younger players enough, and you can argue that. But again, if we get the first round, would they be making those excuses? I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be.
Is there a chance that you and Lionel Hollins swap rosters?
I don't know. I'm open to coaching next year, very much so. I don't know the situation with them. I'm not going to rush into a decision. I'm not going to just rush into a decision. But I'm 62. Do I want to be coaching when I'm 68 or 69? I'd probably like to get one more year, one more stint of security and confidence, and a good team. Memphis is a good team. The Clippers are a good team. I would think those are right now the only two teams I'd have interest in.
Last question: does it bother you just a little bit? You paid your dues. You've been in this league a long time. You got guys like Jason Kidd who are coming off the court and suddenly head coaches. Does that bother the longtime coaches that happens?
If most of that stuff would bother me, but I think Jason is one of the few guys that might have the ability to handle this. That's how much respect I have for him. But in the same sense, the profession of coaching is not being. We tell our players all the time to be professional. I don't think coaches are being treated professional. I think the front office people are out of control. And I'm not saying, I don't know who that is. I'm just saying, come on, man. I mean, even to go to Memphis bothers me because that was wrong. You know, I mean, I don't want to kill, you know, the people who will be interviewing me maybe next week. But man, winning is difficult. Winning is difficult. It isn't easy. And people who have never been there don't understand how hard it is to win. And then the second chapter of that is winning in the playoffs is twice as difficult. Twice as difficult. And trying to teach young kids that is a task. It's a challenge. And okay, that's my failure. But in the regular season, I think we laid a big foundation of a good basketball team that I still think can challenge in the Western Conference next year.
George, I'll leave it at this. You remember the old days when coaches got fired for losing? The 3 seed, 4 seed, and 5 seed from the Western Conference who won franchise record games. Their coaches all got fired for winning.
It is crazy. Maybe not stupid, but it is crazy.